Hey, one person. Hey, Brooklyn. I know you always be loyal. So, what's going on this morning? Yeah, good morning. Wow, I know y'all not expecting me to be on here so early, but anywho, I had to get up this morning, take my car over to the dealership so I could so they could not repair, but fix that paint job. When I bought the car, it had this deep scratch, and a couple years ago, I took it back for them to fix it, and all they did was basically they didn't do anything. Just took a pin and did it, and I was like, they didn't fix this, and I've been dealing with them for a while to fix it. So when I got my oil change done last week, I talked to the manager, and I said, when I purchased this vehicle, and it was supposed to be a certified use, and I said it had that deep um, scratch. I don't even say it was a scratch, a deep scratch on the hood. It was a size of a quarter, but it was still noticeable being that it's a black car. So he told me to take it, come back next Wednesday, which is today in the morning, and they will have to basically repaint that section and also some of these scratches that was on that was on the car. And so I have to. They gave me a courtesy ride back home, and so I have to, wait until they finish so they'll pick me up and take me back to the dealership, which is up the street. So, but other than that, I'm just sitting here. Hey, Lady TH. So I'm just sitting here, probably trying to catch up on some things. Well, really sit here, look at YouTube for a minute, but then, not much to do. And then later on, once I get my car back or get my vehicle back, then I'll do my survey assignments. I have 4 stores to go to today. So it would have, because I have to get the car taken in to get it serviced for that paint job. I have to. It's going to take up a lot of my time, and I could have been doing it this morning. But I'll do probably 2 stores at Kroger's merchandising, and then do the other 2. But depending on what time they finish, hopefully they'll be finished around 4 o'clock, 4:30. Then they'll come and pick me up. But anywho, hey, 3 people, go ahead and hit the thumbs ups. I would appreciate it. And then I'm going to start, give y'all some little updates of what's going on. So let me see what you said. I bought a new PC. It's a mini, and this thing is a beast. I love it. Oh, congratulations. Where did you buy it from? Did you buy it on Amazon Prime? Because today is the last day of Amazon Prime. But I haven't really seen anything special with it. Those prices seems to be extremely high. Even if even if you go online, I didn't see nothing that stood out to me. Even though I work at Amazon, they'll give us a discount on the Amazon product, but it wasn't nothing. I didn't see nothing spectacular in the prices. Now, maybe computers or electronics, you may be able to get um, a good deal, but I think those prices was a little bit too high on the stuff that I've seen. But certain things, I don't know. But Amazon, they like to promote the products and things in hours. Like Christmas, how they have the day after, not day after Christmas, that Black Friday sale. They will always post it at a certain hour and review what the promotion is. That's how they seem to be doing it. But Target and eBay and a bunch of other companies are doing something very similar too. But how much did you pay for the PC, if you don't mind telling me? Lady TH, where you been at? I ain't seen you in a minute. Maybe because I haven't been on here as regularly as I should. But I'm gonna start to I'm gonna start making videos, but I'm gonna try to do some short videos, discussions of certain things. Because being on live stream sometimes, you have to keep people's attention, and I guess you could always play it back. That would be a good thing. But anyway, I don't think I'm gonna get any more people coming in. So a lot of people who knew would come on in my channel, they usually be on the evening time. So I guess a lot of people are working, and they usually are not here in the mornings because it's been a while since I've been on YouTube this early in the morning during the day, weekday at that. But you can always catch the replay. So anyway, so let's go over some economic news. So today the CPI came out, which was 9.1, and even then they didn't include certain things in that number like housing and gas. So they didn't include that fact figures in the CPI. And basically the CPI is the consumer price index, where how much is as the economy in terms of growth and is going up. So it went up from the last month, which was 8. Now it went up 1 point. So what basically that means is that as this consumer price index, that number means that basically we are not doomed. I don't want to say doomed. Basically, what's going to happen is this inflation is not going anywhere anytime soon. And unfortunately, by that CPI going up, in order to combat inflation, that means the Fed's going to have to raise the interest rates. So if you wanted to buy a car, buy a house, um, have credit cards, that means your interest rates will be going up. So if you have bad credit and it's already worse that you get charged 22, 23% interest, that means you'll be paying 30 something percent. But if you trying to buy a home, for instance, and the interest rate is now 5.6%, 6%, that means the interest rate is going to go higher to buy a home. And that's going to affect the um, real estate market, because right now they're saying that it's slowing down, meaning that people are not buying homes. Um, People are canceling contracts. People wanted to buy a home, and they are taking back the contracts. And so that means the feds are going to raise the interest rates, because in order to stop the bleeding of this inflation, you're going to have to raise interest rates. Now, the good thing about raising the interest rates is that if you have your account at a bank, that means you're going to get a higher interest rate on your money if you in a savings account. Now, at one point, the savings rate was barely to nothing. It was point zero something interest rate. So you're losing purchasing power if you save money. So that means something that would cost you 5 years ago $100. That means if you purchase things today with the interest rate that is being that it is, that means you're not spending any money for you're not getting anything for your buck. So let's take groceries, for instance. You go to the grocery store, you buy 5 items, you walk out there spending almost 50 something dollars. Whereas in the past, those same 5 items would have cost you, say, $20. So something that would be $20, you walk to the grocery store and you buy basic things: milk, bread, um, little things, that will cost you $10. Then when you go and buy that very same thing now, it's costing you $30. You know, so they always say look at the price of milk and bread in terms of how inflation is going. I remember I could go to Aldi's, Lidl's, even Kroger's or Publix. You could buy eggs. It would be 99 cents. Now you go and buy eggs, it's $2 for regular, not no special eggs with no enhanced vitamin D, but it's costing you $2 for regular plain old eggs, not cage free, nothing of the name, not no big name brand. You looking at Kroger brand or Publix brand for eggs. Something that was 69 cents. You know, one point you go to Aldi's, eggs was like 69 cents. You could go and buy milk. It was less than $1. Now it's almost $2 and some change. And that's the cheaper end price. So if you went to Kroger's, you may be spending almost $3 for a gallon of milk. So the state of the economy basically is things are going to be much higher in the coming weeks, if not days. Now, I know here in Georgia, the price of gas seems to be going down. It's still $4.13 or whatever, give or take, but it's now going to be like $4.03, maybe. If you go to Sam's Club and get gas, yesterday when I was at Sam's Club, was it Sam's Club yesterday? No, I didn't go to Sam's Club yesterday. It was Monday. The gas was $3 and what was it? 3.78, something like that. But the gas prices is going down. It's going down a little bit. It's not $5 or $6. I guess depending where you at. So I know in Georgia it's pretty much steady. It used at one point when I would go, especially if I go to Buckhead or inside Atlanta, it would be almost $3.99. Like hell no, I might as well wait till I get back into Stone Mountain, Gwinnett County, more in the suburbs where the prices may be cheaper. So the prices of gas is going down in terms of the barrel, but at any moment it could spike up. So I don't know. Brooklyn boy, you still holding on? You the only one. I only see one person in the room now. Guess everybody else kind of. Well, Lady TH must have dropped off. I guess I'm not talking about nothing interesting to people to listen to. So who knows? But anyways, in other aspect of the news that's going on economically is there still seems to be it's coming in trickling down, but it seems to be a surge of people being laid off. People are losing their jobs. So within the tech industry, um, there's been some major layoffs at Twitter. I just read that Meta, which was Facebook, they canceled their contract with this company. They used to do the I guess janitorial service. They'll hire a third party company to handle the janitorial services. They ended the contract with this company. I don't know the name of the company. So the people who work at Facebook corporate office, they ended the contract with that company. So all the people they hired to work the buildings or clean the buildings or whatever, they've been laid off. So that's been they lost the contract and they're not going to renew it. So that was the end of that. So a lot of these tech companies, they are laying off now. There are other companies, especially if you're in technology, especially with the stocks being low, it's going to be more companies that will be cutting the staff. And it's just a matter of time before it starts to trickle down to some other companies. So Amazon, let me tell you about with Amazon. I've been saying for the last weeks, especially some of these coworkers that I work with, I said they're gonna, we've been getting BTO, they've been giving BTO, and especially I work in the department is inbound. You get the products coming in when the trucks come, and the people load up the trucks, and we supposed to decant the products and stuff, meaning that we open the boxes and put them in these yellow bins, and it goes upstairs um, to be sorted. They've been giving BTO for it's been a month, a good month. They've been having BTO. Now, BTO doesn't mean you have to leave, but if they have it, you could take it. And a lot of people, I know I take it a lot because one, it's tiresome. Two, just being on my feet, and then it's like, yeah, I get the accommodation sitting down. That way, it won't get inflamed when I'm standing up and stuff. But I take it because I said, well, let me go and take it because I got other things I could be doing, you know, or I just work just enough hours so it could cover my insurance. And I've always wanted to kind of switch from part time anyway with Amazon. So this week I will be working my schedule. Number one, because I already used 12 hours of my personal time last week, and I used 12 hours of unpaid time. So I have to build up my time because once you get to zero of unpaid time, you're automatically fired. So right now I have about um, 8, 9 hours. No, I have about 10 hours, almost 10 hours of unpaid time. Well, it's really 9, 8 or 9, something like that. I don't know. So I don't have much. I don't have that many hours to play with the unpaid time. But every day that I work or every hour that I work, you accumulate a certain number of minutes. So in a couple of weeks or whatever, it'll build back up. Now I still have 12 hours vacation, and I still have 10 hours of um, PTO, personal time. But I used those 2 days for unpaid time. Now I could have easily, the thing that makes me so mad is that I knew they were offering BTO Saturday. And I could have just went on to work, but I already had a plan. I said, you know what, I don't want to go through all that. Let me go to work just to get BTO and leave. Now I could have easily kept my time and not focus on leaving. I could have just came to work. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go to work tomorrow, but I'm gonna work my schedule. I'm gonna work my whole shift. I'm not even gonna leave anywhere. And matter of fact, I'm gonna work my whole 3 days. I'm not gonna take VTO or nothing. I just have to bear it and say, you know what? Just grind this 12 hours. And since I worked Sunday, this past Sunday, I said I'll at least have a little bit of overtime when I work my schedule, plus I work Sunday. So it'll be an hour overtime, but I'm going to work these 3 days because one, I do need a check. And 2 weeks from now, right about the end of the month, I will be getting my laptop and will be working TurboTax part time. They let you work 25 hours a week. So I will be going back to work at TurboTax and work until October. And then there's going to be a time where it's going to be dead time and then resume training. And then tax season will start all over again. And it will come as soon as I blink my eye. Next thing you know, it'll be time to go back to work with TurboTax, working those 40, 60, 70 hours during tax season. So, but but in the meantime, I will be still working at Amazon until I find another position in technical sales or SDR role, which is sales development role. But I've been interviewing for the last few days. Haven't got anything yet. I get you go to that gruesome interview process. And yesterday I had an interview with a company, and I asked him, is there anything in my resume or anything that would prevent me from going forward? Basically, he told me, well, good luck in your job search. I was like, whatever. I said, it's amazing that these companies, they want to hire technical sales. And the thing about it, technical sales is strictly calling on the phone, cold calling people to get them to get on the phone so they could buy whatever product and software. And yes, they'll pay you a salary, but the money is really getting into it's getting those connections and referring those referral leads with a with the account manager. And it's not easy. It isn't. But I was I was thinking from the very beginning when I first started the program at SV Academy. I said, how is the job outlook going to be if we enter a recession? And it says, well, it's still going to be a need for the SDRs, blah, 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 this, that, or whatever. And, you know, they didn't know. I said, I'm going to ask a question to people who purpose is to get people to go to their school or go do the program, pay their $10,000 to attend a 2-month program that's taught on Coursera for that matter. And they're going to tell people, well, the job outlook ain't gonna be great. I already knew, but I said, you know what? I didn't pay for the class. I went through Amazon Career Choice. They got a discount and paid the 5,250. I took advantage of it. I wanted to learn because I'm always learning. I'm always taking advantage of programs and courses online and trying to always update my skills to keep myself relevant. But going through these interviews with some of these companies in the last couple of days, I'm at a standstill. Now, I'm not going to be frustrated about it because I know that it's going to take time, and people who are in IT, software developers, not even just software developers, people who are working in IT that make that big money, those companies are facing a slowdown and they're letting people go. They got people who've been working, they had very good jobs, making very good money. They are being told, but Zoom, we have to cut some staff. They're not firing everybody, but they're cutting down staff. So a lot of people are on LinkedIn trying to get connections for other types of employment, and there's still positions available. There's still a need, but the needs of any company, whatever it is that you do, they have to be financially sound. And just like people are cutting back, or at least some people are trying to cut back, the recession, overall, with a economic downturn, even if you're doing these gig work, doing DoorDash or whatever, choose any of those companies. They have a downturn. People always, I've been hearing for these last 5, 6 years, oh, it's oversaturated with drivers. Oh, yeah, it may be oversaturated, but that's not the reason why things are slowing down. I was on Jermaine Ellis' channel last night. I was on one of his guests, and we talked about various different things. And he lives in San Francisco, and he said that you could work all day and not even make $100 doing Uber Eats or any of these gig work in San Francisco because it's nearly dead. And there's not a lot of people. A lot of people moved out of California. People move out of San Francisco, and the gig work is slow. People are not ordering food and everything else, and it makes sense because a lot of people may be working from home. A lot of people are not working in the office. Um, a lot of these tech companies, especially up in San Francisco and these other areas, people are being laid off. So people are not using Uber. They're not ordering food. The shortages at these restaurants where the supply chain about certain products are not available. You know, we're still in a pandemic. Don't let it fool you because you don't have to wear no mask and you don't have to put, and people are still walking around doing their everyday lives that it's over. I just heard today on my way home when the courtesy van dropped me back home, they said that in Georgia, that coronavirus, whatever the new name is, BWC or whatever, I don't know, they said there was a 20% spike in cases rising in Georgia alone or Atlanta. And people are not talking about it as much because, when they was reporting about the coronavirus and all this stuff, people got themselves in a whole big uproar over putting something over your face, like a mask or whatever. So people are kind of trying to, we want to bring back to normal. So they're putting their head under the sand and ignoring the fact that things like that is still going on. But the main thing is this economy, the inflation is overshadowing what's going on with the coronavirus. COVID-19 or whatever the new number is. And remember I talked about this monkeypox? Somebody else, a big YouTuber, Walter Lee Hampton III, made a video about the monkeypox. I said, what? I talked about that first. It mentioned it. Now that's coming about. They said in Atlanta itself, there were cases of people got the monkeypox. Now I'm not going to talk about the monkeypox because I already talked about it, but I will make a follow-up video and keep you abreast when that comes out. But that's going to be, if y'all talk about the coronavirus shutting government down and everything else, China is already shut down. Not the whole country of China, but the major um, cities in China. So they going through a shutdown, but it's not mentioned because people don't want to talk about it. People feel that I want to get it over with. So they figure if you don't speak about it, it doesn't exist. And the fact of the matter is that it exists. It is affecting us. Now, I'm gonna make this last point and then I'm gonna get off in 2 minutes. So, what can we do in the meantime to combat this inflation, to combat all these things that's going on? One, you have to live within your means. Two, you got to start cutting back, budgeting, um, any foolishness that you be spending money on. You got to really stop it. If it means cutting back on certain aspects of what you're spending, you got to do it. Um, Try to generate some type of income somehow. I know there's nothing to be done when you're doing these gig work. Some people doing all these different gig work, trying to hustle, you know, doing Spark and DoorDash. But I've always said if you could find a job, whether it's working at Amazon, I don't know, because Amazon ain't got a whole bunch of openings in the warehouse facilities or whatever, because that's the easiest way to get on is really going through those, is really working at the facility. I'm not talking about the corporate jobs, the IT. You have to, there's a need for certain positions like that, but you have to be very skilled. And even people who work in those positions at Amazon, they only stay there for 2, 3 years before they move on because it's not easy. I'll tell you that. No, nothing is easy, but it's a matter of building your emergency fund. If you can't afford to live, people are facing what do you call it? What's it? I just said the word yesterday, last night, to the housemaid. Well, former housemaid, because they're moving out in 2 weeks, in the 25th. They'll be moving on. So, um, housing, just, I can't think of the word. Basically, what the term is basically about um, not having adequate or permanent place to stay. Not homelessness, it's a term for that. And a lot of people, especially those who stayed at people's apartments and houses and didn't pay no rent, and they, because of the stipulations about you couldn't evict no one out of their apartment or house because of the COVID situation, people stayed and didn't pay rent, didn't pay the person who owns the house rent, and thought they was just going to stay there, and they lived there, and then it caused this whole thing of people can't find a place to live, affordable housing. You can forget about the affordable housing. Section 8, people looking for Section 8 housing. There is, and a lot of people are faced to having to, one, live in their car, live in a van, or two, living with other people, relatives, trying to find some place to live and renting out rooms and, whatever the case may be. Now, this time around, after this situation is finished with, I don't know if I'm gonna ever decide to go that route of renting out my house to anyone. I'm just gonna go back to doing the storage. We know at neighbor.com when people want to put storage in the garage, I'm gonna start doing that because a lot of these storage places, they're gonna be way expensive out of people's reach. And I don't know why people would waste their money and store their items and pay all that money for storage when the fact of the matter is if you don't have no place to live, storing things in people's, other relatives' houses and homes, and people moving out and you got your stuff spread out all over the place, people living with relatives, you know, people are doing that. It's, but people are living in these hotels and even that is crowded. They're not renting out long term and they're getting expensive. Some of those places they be wanting, you know, no kitchenette, no, one bed, one room in a hotel. I know when I did Domino's, it was literally 7 people in one room. It would be like a whole bunch of kids, 2, 3 grown ass adults living in a hotel room with 2 beds. It would be ridiculous, and they look like they lived there for months. You go up there, it's like, oh damn, it's been rough. And I know when I used to, and this was before the coronavirus, that I've seen people living in those conditions. Can you imagine what it looks like now? You know, it's not easy. A lot of people try to rent out their house and rooms and all that kind of stuff, and then some people don't even want to do it because people, you know, coronavirus happened, people were staying in people's houses. You couldn't evict them and all that kind of stuff, and people were selling their house. Some people have a house. They say, you know what? Some people are selling, not all, but if you were in financial difficulty, some people are selling their house, but people are competing to get whatever for the home, overpricing, but it's being bought by these hedge fund companies and these big companies. Right here in Snellville, when I drive on 124, it's a big ass sign, houses for rent, not houses to buy, but for rent. And when you go there, half of the stuff is not even finished built. They start to build it, All of a sudden, I'm like, well, dang, when are you going to finish this construction? Because there's no materials. There's no, the materials to buy, to fix, to build the house. Short supply on that. Then there's short supply on labor, you know? So it's getting rough. And people say, when are we going to be in a recession? People say we are in a recession now, but technically it's not official that we're in a recession because it has to be 2 quarters of economic downturn that happens in all segments. The real estate is slowing down, but the prices is not going to drop. So if people who want to buy a house, they want to buy a house. The Feds are going to raise the interest rate. It's going to be about 6% or more, and that's if you got good credit. So the interest rate is going to be higher. The prices of houses are not going to collapse because for those who have their house, they're going to keep it. I'm keeping my house. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it because whether the price go up, whether the price go down, my mortgage is going to be paid off in less than 10 years. When I last checked it, it's going to be paid off less than 10 years. All I'm focusing now is paying off whatever debts. Luckily for me, I don't have no credit card debt. I have a mortgage, student loans, and HOA fees, and probably about a medical bill that I refuse to pay. Or let's put it this way, I'm not paying it anytime soon, but it'll be paid. I'll get it over with, whatever, tell them to kiss my ass, because the credit bureaus now cannot report medical bills on your credit report anymore. So anybody who got medical bills on their credit report, they have to take it off. All that's going to be wiped out. So if you have medical bills on your credit report, that's going to be taken out. And that will start at July 1st. So a lot of people's credit is going to suddenly be very good once they take those things off. So, anywho, Brooklyn boy, I appreciate it. Lady TH, thanks for coming on. Um, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. And I will talk to y'all later. I'll come on later this evening, so I'll probably do a live. But right now, I'm just gonna hang around the house for a minute because my car is at the dealership. They're painting the deep scratches on the hood. And they have to paint that whole thing over because I was tired of it. It wasn't obvious, but it's obvious to me. And the fact of the matter is, they should have fixed it right when I first told them about it, not put a paint pen and try to cover it. I was like, I still could see the deep cut it is like a size of a quarter, and those little scratches that's along the door handle. So I said, no, y'all need to fix this. It's not bad, but all it takes is a dead scratch, and next thing you know, it's gonna grow. You know, I had that certified up in certified use price was to bring it back as if that car was brand new. You know, so I guess I'll talk to y'all later on, and I'll probably, once the dealership calls me that it's ready, it's not gonna be ready until about probably 4:30, 5 o'clock. They're gonna have to come and pick me up, and then I'll do my other assignmts with survey, and also do some other little gig work, and then I'll be at work tomorrow at Amazon. Anyways, if y'all interested in working with TurboTax, send me your name and email so I could send it to the recruiter, and then they could start calling y'all back. So that's my email. Send it to me. You don't have to send me your resume. Just send me your name, your email, so I can forward it to the recruiter, and they can see what they can tell you what's going on and see what they have to offer. But it is flexible. You can do your own schedule, and the way things are going, don't wait till the last. I ain't gonna say last minute, but don't wait until November and say, "Oh, they still hiring." Da 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 da. I told y'all now. So I guess I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good